Unicorns and glitter and taxidermy critters are just some of the things they like. They also enjoy 80s hair bands, Grizzly Adams and John Goodman, so if you think that's weird, then you can take a hike. But the things they enjoy the most are making art and cracking jokes, so without further ado, here are your hosts. You've got your two artsy gals, Here are your two artsy gals.
Hey everyone, this is Katie.
And this is Sharon.
And you are listening to Two Artsy Gals. This week,
Yay!
woohoo! This week we're going to talk about yarn. I love yarn.
It's almost as good as glitter.
Oh,
It's pretty awesome.
I don't know about that. That's taking it a little
Yeah.
far. But it is
Okay.
pretty awesome.
It is pretty awesome, though.
I just like it because it's soft and you can rub your face on it. And
Yeah.
I think
As long as it's not wool.
Oh yeah, I don't rub my face on wool, but we'll get to that. No, I just like it because, you can make stuff. I actually saw a hoodie, like somebody advertised, I don't know, it was one of those things on Facebook, but it said, I turned string into stuff. What's your superpower? And I thought it was
Oh,
pretty
that's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of think I need it, but now I can't find where it went. I thought that was pretty cool because it is just, I never thought of it that way, but we
that's
are
awesome.
just kind of turning string into stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know.
Well, especially in Portland, because we've got to at least touch on the crocheting and knit it bombing that happens in Portland.
Dude, I so want to be one of the yarn bomber peoples.
Well, you can be.
I think I should be.
You can anything you set your mind to, Katie.
I don't know. I need a better, like Kurt's all, well, if you're going to do yarn bombing, okay, we should explain yarn bombing is kind of
Okay,
like
yeah.
group of people that go in and like, I don't know, they knit, like the other day we went to a stop sign that somebody had crocheted a stop sign cover that looked like a stop sign and put it over the stop sign.
No way!
Okay, that might only be awesome to people who live in Portland because we're kind of
That's
fucking weird like that, but it made my whole fucking day.
That's rad. That's probably the best one I've heard.
So people
The other one that I...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. The other one that I really liked was, the bike racks that are like, they're like a big W or like a wavy,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So somebody had yarn bombed a snake
Oh my
along
God,
the whole
that's
thing and then had
awesome.
a really awesome snake head at the end.
That's really cool. So
Yeah.
what you do, why? Get out of my office. Sorry, the dog and the cat were going, like tearing my shit up behind me. So what yarn bombing is, it's like people literally just sneak out, presumably in the dead of the night, because that makes it more awesome in my mind. And I think most people pre-knit or crochet these like covers for things. Like there's trees in parks that have like a big blanket crocheted around them and they just go out and stitch it on really quick. I've seen some pretty epic yarn bombing, like from other places too. So I know Portland's not the only place that it exists, but I told Kurt one day, cause I use a cane.
In Squim, there were yarn bombers.
Yeah, they're pretty much everywhere now, but I need a like a getaway wheelchair driver cause I can't run. And in my mind, even though it's probably, I mean, technically it's vandalizing. I don't think they're going to arrest a lady with fucking crochet hooks or knitting needles outside, like in the middle of the night doing that. It's not like I'm spray painting something, but still in my mind, I need a getaway driver. Cause
You need to get away fast.
I do. And I can't get away fast. So we're going to be talking about like yarn. I mean, some people, maybe those of you who don't knit or crochet might think, what the fuck? There's what's to talk about. But there are actually quite a few elements that you need to know about when you're going to be doing a project with yarn. There's a lot more than you think. Like, I think the biggest thing we should probably start off is breaking down the weights and sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm going to post a link to a chart that has all of the yarn. It's called, their weights is what it's called. All the different weights of yarn and kind of what they're used for and whatever. Oh, poor Sharon's getting over a cold, so she's got a little cough. That sucks.
I'm sorry, people. Yeah, I sound horrible.
But you actually don't sound too bad. Yeah, we're going to start off. I'll just go through. So from smallest to largest, you have what's called the fingering weight. Now, when you look at your label on your yarn, you're going to see most types of yarn have a little, it's just a little black outline drawing, like a line drawing of a skein of yarn, which is what yarn comes in as a skein. And it'll have this little square with the symbol that's a line drawing of yarn with a number on it. Sometimes it has the name of this type of yarn underneath it, but you'll always see, so the first one, the smallest one, if we're going for fingering weight yarn is what it's called, you're going to see a 0 on the little drawing of a skein of yarn on your package of yarn. And that fingering weight is crochet thread, and it's generally used for making things like lace. Like when you're tatting lace or you're crocheting lace. I've never actually seen anyone knit with yarn that small. It's really almost like string. Like it's really thin.
Yeah.
So, and
it's like for socks.
Well, and actually the next one up is usually used for socks. This one is used for any kind of lace. 'Cause have you ever seen people do tatting?
Yeah, tatting. Yes.
So
okay, yeah.
That, which is making a certain kind of lace. And you can also just crochet lace. My great aunt Nancy used to, she was a demon at hand embroidery. Like her hand embroidery, I remember the back was as pretty as the front. She didn't mess around.
Oh, wow.
She was she was raised during the Victorian era, and that's what nice girls did. You learn to do things like hand embroidery, but once she would embroider something like a pillow or an apron, she would whip out her little teeny tiny microscopic crochet hooks and crochet lace to go around whatever she had just embroidered.
Oh, wow.
I actually wish I still had
wow,
some of those.
that's awesome.
I don't think there are any in existence now. She was my great grandma's sister, and yeah, my mom might have a few pieces of stuff that she did, but I don't think so. I think that they've all, over the years, fallen apart because she made functional things. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but that's what that little teeny tiny 0 weight yarn is for. And then you move up to number 1, which is also sometimes called fingering weight, baby yarn. It can be called finger weight or baby yarn or sock yarn, but it'll have the number 1 on it. And that is used for both crochet and knitting. And again, generally for socks and for baby items like booties and hats and stuff. And then you go up to number 2, which is slightly bigger, and that's the sport weight yarn. And that's often used for baby clothes too. Because you want little teeny tiny fine things for baby clothes.
For little teeny tiny baby things.
Yeah. So, and then you go up to number 3 weight is DK. I don't know what DK actually stands for. Do you?
I used to know. That's embarrassing that I don't know.
I should have known.
I should know. Doe. Listeners, you can write in and tell us. Or we could just Google it.
It's also light worsted weight. And I mean, I actually don't know that I've ever used this weight before, but I'm sure it's pretty universal, I would assume. And then you go to number 4, which is the most common yarn, I think, which is worsted weight, Afghan or Aran weight yarn. So, and that is what your most patterns call for this. For like hats or slippers or sweaters or Afghans, anything that you're going to do with it, more often than not, it's a 4 or a worsted weight yarn. And that is going to be what you're more universally able to find in any store, not just a yarn store, in any craft store, they always have worsted weight.
I just looked up what the DK means.
What does that mean?
Double knitting.
Derp,
Double knitting.
derp, derp.
So, yep. So any of you that are like professional knitters or master knitters or that have been knitting a hell of a lot longer than us, don't make fun of us.
Yeah, don't make fun of us, Kay, because we don't know everything. Even though, don't tell our husbands that though.
Yeah.
We still want them under the illusion that we know everything. So
Yeah.
So that the double knit is 3, which is a lightweight yarn, and then you go to a medium weight, which is worsted weight, and then you go to a bulky weight, which is a 5 on that chart, and it's chunky craft or rug yarn, and you may make some hats or some sweaters, or I've seen a few slipper patterns out of chunky weight. Then you go up to super bulky, which is 6, and that, I've seen some pretty cool stuff made out of that, but the thing about that is, and we'll get to this more in depth in a second, is when you are working with yarn that heavy, it takes a lot of fucking yarn to make what you're going to make. Even the smallest things, you're like, what? I need 3 skeins of this shit? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So, and then on this chart, they have jumbo weight, and that's a 7, and that is what they're just calling roving. So, which, that, I've never seen that. So, I mean, I've never seen roving with that number on it, so I don't really know about
I have
that.
seen yarns that do look like a thin roving, like it's just pulled out, and I have seen that before.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, I have seen it. It's pretty interesting, but yeah, I can see why they call it that.
Okay. I'll have to go look around and see if I can find some. I went into, damn it, what is that place again? Northwest Yarns? The one in Multnomah Village.
Yeah, I knew what you're talking about. I think
I
that
just brain
Northwest Wools.
Yeah, Northwest Wools. I went in there the other day.
Northwest Wools.
Just to look around. Oh my God. I
Yummy,
wanted to
huh?
rub my face all over everything in there. It's been a while since I've been in there, and I feel like they've expanded another room back since the last time I was there.
Oh, maybe they have.
But
And they're so nice there.
they really are, and actually this lady helped me so much. I asked her a yarn question because I have a couple of patterns that call for Aran weight yarn, but it didn't have the number.
Oh.
So I was like, what the fuck is Aran weight yarn? I have never seen it in any of like the mainstream fabrics or craft or fabric stores. So I asked the lady, and I did not know that it's just fucking worsted weight yarn.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, why call it Aran weight then? Ugh. It makes me so mad.
It might be because, like when you're looking at patterns, a lot of times there's like, you can do it like that is like that pattern where it's like symbols, and then there's like the written out kind, and then there's like the English way and the American way, and so there's a couple different ways. So it just might be because of that. So yeah, so that might be why the different, Aran way.
I didn't think about that, but
yeah,
because Aran, most of the patterns that I have that are Aran are like Irish style knitting, like those big bulky sweaters and stuff. So maybe that's just, it's Aran Islands kind of thing. That might be why it's called that. But.
Yeah, it could be.
So yeah,
it could be.
You know what I just tried to do? Are you still there?
What?
I just tried it because I was using my
I'm here.
I was using my iPad right before, so I just tried to scroll my fucking computer monitor with my finger. Oh my God,
that didn't work so well,
no,
did it?
it didn't. I'm like, why isn't it going? Because it doesn't do that.
Oh, that's
that was
funny.
Dumb.
I actually have a bunch of the sock weight yarn that's just beautiful, and I was gonna make scarves or something out of them, but it's like I should just see if you want it.
I'll buy it from you for reals.
Okay.
Since I have a bigger studio, I've been accumulating a new hoard of all of my favorite things. So, and you
a bigger what?
A bigger hoard of all of my favorite things.
That you have a bigger
studio.
Oh, I thought you said a bigger city. I was like,
no, bigger studio.
What?
Like now that I have room to have more things, and you've seen my glorious organizers.
I know your studio is like the mecca, and my studio's getting smaller, so it's like I just need to downsize and focus on the things that I'm doing with the boys, and so yeah.
But remember, my studio is your studio. The doors
Oh.
are always open.
I know, and
So-
if I ever get finally unpacked here and get over to have some fun, then
It's gonna be awesome.
it's gonna be on like Donkey Kong.
Fuck yeah! So let's talk about fibers and the kinds of yarn that you will encounter out in the world. So,
I was gonna
What?
say what my favorite is.
what is your favorite? Because I was gonna say what your favorite is, but you tell me what your favorite is.
Oh, Angora.
Oh, god damn. When I was in high school, I had a red Angora sweater that my mom bought me because my mom very much felt that my mom's really girly. And I kind of wasn't a girly girl for most of my life. I think I'm more girly now than I've ever been. But I don't think that I really could qualify as girly. I don't know. I like to paint my fucking fingernails, so I guess that's girly. But there were certain things, though, that my mom kind of felt were like a rite of passage to a young woman, and an Angora sweater was one of them.
Isn't that funny? My mom was kind of the same way, like Angora or a cashmere.
Mm-hmm. And it was so soft, this Angora sweater. I fucking loved it, and it was so pretty. And my goddamn cat crawled into my dresser underneath. I don't even know how the fuck she got in there. Because she was so pregnant that her belly was almost hanging on the fucking ground. She crawled under my sweater, under my dresser, up the back of it, and into the drawer that my sweaters were in, and had fucking kittens on my red Angora sweater.
Oh!
Like, it was ruined. And, like, I'm not talking just a couple of kittens. That cat was like the machine. She had like 12 kittens per litter.
Oh my
Which is
Lord.
why her fucking belly was hanging on the ground. This cat was a fucking baby having wreck. And she ruined my sweater.
Oh my God. You and your cats, man. You got some crazy cat stories.
I do. Because that's how I grew up in a house with way more cats than any person should have. So
Yeah, you guys may have been the crazy cat people.
we had cats. It was out of control. But yeah. So what is Angora made out of, though, Sharon?
It's made out of Angora fiber from Angora goats.
Yeah. And they're soft coats.
Yeah, they're soft.
They're very soft.
Yeah, and though there are Angora rabbits as well.
Oh.
And I've seen people spin straight off of the
Oh my
rabbit.
God, you were saying that. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, so this woman I saw at the county fair, she was, and folks, if you want to see some awesome crafts and people doing this, go to the Clackamas County Fair. It's one of the best ones in Oregon. But she had her little rabbit sitting there. You can either shave him or just go straight from the rabbit. So the bunny is sitting in her lap, the rabbit, and she's got her spinning wheel, and she's just pulling fibers straight from the rabbit.
That's insane. And the rabbits just chillax.
Oh,
And
chilling
I feel
because
like
it probably
we've
feels
talked
good.
about this before.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome. That's insane.
yeah, it was totally
It is
awesome.
a very fucking soft yarn.
It's
Just-
totally soft,
And it's often really fine yarn too. It's really like thin, is it not?
It is, but sometimes they mix it with other things, and it can be
Mhm.
really nice. It can be like that sport weight or that
Mhm.
that Aran weight,
Worsted
worsted weight, yeah. And but I totally want to get Angora. I need to learn how to spin first, and then I want to get the Angora rabbits
Okay.
just because that's awesome.
You need to learn how to spin because I've been thinking about this and I just cannot. I can't do that.
I think that I could. I've tried it before, but to me, it seems like it would be very similar feeling and intuition like throwing pots. And I used to be a potter. And
I
So-
think you're right. It kind of
And
has that same motion and repetitive
it has that
rhythm
same,
to it.
yeah, that rhythm and that feeling of like getting to that trance. And it feels like one of those things that would be really easy for me to do because you could walk away from it, where with throwing a pot, you can't exactly walk away from
You
throwing,
can't stop.
but I think that would be a really like a fun thing to learn. But those spinning wheels are pretty expensive.
Are they? I'll keep my eyes peeled for like good prices on maybe used ones or something.
Yeah,
If I see one around.
I learned how to do the drop spindle.
Okay.
But I just don't do it. I just don't have the time. But
Yeah.
a fun thing would be to do is just get the rabbits and then sell the fiber to people that know how to spin.
True that. True that. So
let's get some rabbits and goats, yo.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to get goats, only because I want to make them unicorn horns. So.
Oh yeah, couple years we're gonna be getting goats.
So, I think you should do it sooner than that. I'm just saying. But
well, the funds aren't quite there.
Well, god damn it.
I know. I gotta sell a lot of baby chicks.
Can't you teach one of your fucking geese to lay golden eggs?
I don't even have geese yet.
Oh, I thought those ducks were geese, technically speaking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They are technically, but they're both boys, and...
Oh, well, that won't make babies.
No, I know. The raccoon got our female. I'm sorry to say, Katie's been eaten.
No!
No, I'm sorry to break it to you on our podcast.
On the podcast, you have to get a new Katie.
I know, isn't that terrible?
Kurt doesn't do good when he's left to
He's
his
not-
own devices.
Honestly, he's a real asshole, and I think that we might have to eat him.
Oh, I'm telling Kurt that. I'm so telling him that. He walks around here like Sharon's some kind of fucking angel that can do no wrong, and now I'm just gonna say, look, Sharon's gonna eat your fucking namesake. And
Oh my god, don't tell him I
suck
want to
on that.
angel. Oh my god. Oh my god, no, no.
No, because
No.
my husband has the most ridiculous crush on Sharon. It is hilarious. Like every time she's here, after they leave, he goes, "I sure do like Sharon," and he squishes his face up into this like dumb face, and he blushes, and I'm like, "Oh my god, can you fucking temper your crush on my BFF? Jesus Christ, he's out of control."
He's out of control. Okay, I'll stop crawling into his big old chops.
Oh, it's hard to. You can't not do that, though. My husband has, like, mutton chops, but they're huge.
They are.
Mutton
They're
chops.
amazing. They're
And they're
amazing.
bright, fiery orange like his hair. So,
They're phenomenal.
yeah, back on track. We have, like, wool, obviously, but there are different kinds of wool. And Sharon actually uses more wool than I do. I tend to be pretty allergic to wool, so I don't use it because I break out in rashes.
Though, I have to stop using the wool because I am suddenly slightly allergic to wool as well.
Well,
I think I was in denial, actually.
I
and
think you
it's
probably
just
will.
got-
And I think
just
most
got-
people get a little bit, their skin gets a little bit irritated by wool.
Yeah,
For the most part. But there are different kinds of wool that are less irritating.
there are. That's for sure. Yeah, that's why I like the Angora.
So yeah, Angora is nice. Merino wool.
Merino wool is not bad.
I find that, that tends to be much easier on your skin, but it's also considered the finest of breeds. Like it's the shiz when it comes to wool. So there's that. There's Shetland wool, washable wool,
Mm-hmm.
and lamb's wool, which would be like baby sheep.
Yeah.
And I have a hard time figuring out all those naked baby sheep running around being cold.
They're okay.
I know they don't mind it.
And then, there's even, I just like sometimes acrylic, not the nasty old lady acrylic, but like the boucle acrylic. That's kind of fun and it's
There are
soft.
all kinds of acrylic yarn, and I feel like in the past we've kind of talked about acrylic just when we're talking about the nasty old lady yarn. But
Yeah.
I use mostly acrylic yarn or blends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blends are nice.
For socks, when I'm knitting socks, the yarn that I like to use is a blend of merino wool or superwash, bamboo,
Oh, nice. I love the bamboo.
and acrylic. So
And they hold up a little nicer. They don't break.
Mhm.
I think that when you mix a little something in there, it makes it a little...
yeah. Well,
little
and my
sturdier.
favorite yarn is acrylic, and I have. Hold on, I gotta grab a thing of it because I just brain farted the freaking name. So yeah, my favorite yarn that I use for almost every project that I do that's a worsted weight project is Caron. Caron is the brand. Simply Soft.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
that stuff's
it's
pretty
100%
nice.
acrylic, but it is so soft.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that stuff, if it works, and especially like cost wise, if you're gonna make something pretty big or, it's not like I can afford to make a whole Angora blanket or
No, and this is now the Karen Simply Soft is I think at the higher price end of the acrylic yarns.
mm-hmm.
But if you watch, it goes on sale. Joann's, especially Joann's, have really good sales on it.
Oh yeah, Joann's is a great place for getting that kind of stuff.
So, and when
sure.
I know that there's a sale, I just stock up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes I just go buy because I like the fucking color. Because Simply Soft also makes glittery yarns. Like Karen Simply Soft comes in sparkles, and my thing about sparkles. So, but yeah. That is my favorite. And also, you want to consider when you are making things for children, especially, they need to be able to be washed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's something that when you buy yarn, you really want to look at the label, because all yarn labels will give you care instructions.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't maybe necessarily want to make something out of wool for a small child or a little kid when it's going to have to be washed a lot, because it's not easy to take care of. Like, you have to wash it by hand generally and lay it flat to dry.
Mm-hmm.
You can't put it in the dryer. Acrylic yarn could just be washed and dried in the dryer.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's rough and tumble. It lasts a long time. Again, just we went through the kinds of wool, and let me see. And again, we have acrylic. You can buy bamboo yarn. I actually have, and these are synthetic, nylon, acrylic, polyester. All of these are in the synthetic family, and you can buy bamboo yarn. It says here corn yarn, which I've never seen and never used. I don't know what that would be made of, but corn. I really like. I don't know if like the fibers from the husk, is that what I'm getting at, or
I think so. Like the silk or the what do they call it?
I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know about that yarn. I'm skeptical of it.
They can make corn. Corn can be made into anything now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I just thought of corn poop. I don't know why.
Ew.
When you have mystery corn in your poo. So, anyway, I'm sorry. You know when you eat corn and you chew it up and then it comes out whole in your poop? It's weird. So, I'm sorry. I just don't know why I thought of corn poo. Anyway, I actually really love bamboo yarn.
Yeah, that's nice stuff.
And I have a bolero sweater that I was crocheting myself. It's done. I just have to sew it together. I don't know why I never finished it. Other than the fact that it got hot outside and I put it away.
That's your project for today. That's your homework.
Finishing that sweater.
Uh-huh.
But I have to finish the socks, because they're actually a birthday present. So for someone whose birthday's coming up. So I got to finish that first. But I love the feeling and the weight of bamboo yarn.
Yeah.
It kind of has a nice heavy feel to it. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. I just like the way that it lays on your skin. It's really nice. And then you have novelty yarns. And this is where I always run into trouble.
Because they're so fun?
Well, okay. First and foremost, novelty yarns tend to be pretty fucking expensive.
Yeah. Like,
they're the fancy yarns. And then they also have a real tendency to be hard to work with.
Yeah, it depends. Like, I like those yarns that have, like, little pieces of, bling on them, like, sequins.
I love that. I do love that.
Yeah, I'm making a lace scarf right now. Well, it's taken me about 2 years. I'm still working on it, but yeah, I love those.
Yeah, there's a yarn in Joann's that I keep putting in my cart, and then it's very expensive. It's about $15 a skein, but there is not much on the skein, and it is Angora, black Angora, and it has little teeny sequins along it. They're kind of rainbow colored.
Oh, awesome.
I am bound and fucking determined to make myself something out of that yarn, but I can never justify buying it without having something to make from it. Do you know what I mean?
You can always make a scarf.
That's true. I'm not a big scarf wearer, though, because I have this whole, like, fucking claustrophobia thing with stuff around my neck.
So you don't have 24 scarves?
No, I absolutely do not have 24 scarves. I have 4. I have 4 scarves.
How do you even
like
survive?
fashion scarves, and they're really lightweight and gauzy, and I can wear them. But that's about it. Like,
It kind of makes sense now when you were saying the other day, like, couldn't really understand why I had
because
scarves.
Sharon's unpacking, and she texted me the other day, randomly out of the blue in the middle of the day, and said, "Are 24 scarves too many?" And I think my immediate response was, you should get rid of 1 so you have an uneven number, because I have this weird OCD thing with I have to have uneven numbers of stuff. So I told her to get rid of 1, which was weird and probably not very helpful, but I have no input on that. But here's the thing. Your socks your scarves are like my sock thing.
Yeah.
Like, who fucking needs... I probably have 24 pairs of different colored knee highs.
Wow.
Like, I have a real sock issue. I have 2 unicorn pairs of socks.
Well, I used to work at a sock store, and I had an entire dresser full of socks.
Yeah. I have a sock thing. Which is
now it's slowly
weird, because do you know how infrequently I put on socks and shoes?
Yeah.
I'm barefoot in my house all day long.
That's so funny.
And as soon as the weather is warm enough, I wear fucking flip-flops all the time. But I have a lot of shoes and socks. I don't know.
That's
it's weird.
funny. You could share some socks with me.
I probably could. I probably have quite a few pair that I could thin those down. My nieces are usually beneficial of my sock thinnings.
Uh-huh.
But I just love fucking socks. I don't know. They're cute.
Yeah,
But so, for novelty yarns, have you used the ribbon yarns?
I have a little bit. I think I've
kinda
used them like
neat.
once or twice.
They're
Yeah.
kind of neat. So I do not know how to pronounce this. Boucle with a little thingy above it.
Boucle. That's what I was
Boucle.
talking about, the acrylic boucle.
Okay,
I love it.
like these really super bumpy textured yarns that are loopy and stuff, but those are the ones that I find are kind of a pain in the ass to work with. But I was thinking about it the other night, and I have crocheted with those. So I feel like knitting with them would be easier, because when you're knitting, all your stitches are already on your hook or your needle. Whereas when you're crocheting, you have to find the stitch below to hook into it with your hook.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to actually use.
When you knit.
Because I
Yeah.
use those actually a lot because they're super cheap at Michael's and they're great for making hats and scarves.
You know what? I'm going to try playing with those now that I knit, because knitting is a fairly new thing for me. Because with crochet, I'll show you, because I'm going to teach you how to fucking crochet.
Yeah.
It's happening. But when you crochet with it, and you have to actually be able to see your stitch below so you can hook through it. And some of those yarns are out of control, bumpy and cool looking. And so it's really difficult to find. Or even the really fuzzy, fluffy ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to see where your stitch was below in all of that awesomeness. So, and then you have like chenille. I don't know that I've ever used chenille yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know that I have either.
thick and thin. So I love this, where some sections are really thin and some are like really bumpy, and it's not a consistent weight.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
love that
that would be
shit.
fun. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then they have the railroad ribbon. It has tiny tracks of fiber running between 2 parallel threads. Have you seen that? I think that stuff works really good. My niece makes these twist scarves
Oh,
with
cool.
crochet, and there's a way that you do it with that ribbon, and it just naturally twists as you crochet it.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty neat. I think that this is just kind of a general like rundown of, I'm going to post also a thing of a chart with different kinds of yarns and stuff. But I think the point that really I wanted to make here the most is that even though Sharon and I kind of tend to make fun of like grandma yarn, we're talking about the really super cheap, like, I'm sorry, Red Heart, but like that kind of yarn.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
and you will know when you touch it and you want to recoil. You want to pull your hand back and go, "Ew, that's old lady yarn."
Yeah, that's the old lady yarn. But I have to tell you, it washes up pretty well because
It does.
the little old lady next door to us made us several little baby blankets, and you can beat the shit out of that stuff.
Yeah, well, and especially for like, honestly, my husband's grandma the last couple of years hasn't done it, but she used to crochet everybody in the family hats for Christmas. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
every fucking person in the house, in the family. That's a lot of people in my husband's family. And she, on a budget, that's what she can afford. Those motherfuckers, I have a huge laundry, like, you know those mesh laundry bags? Full of hats in our garage.
Oh my God.
That you can we have them for guests. Like, I give them away. Like, someone comes over and it's cold out. I'm like, oh God, here, take a hat. It's been washed a million fucking times. It's never gonna die. Take the hat.
That's hilarious.
So, because we have hats coming out our asses around here.
Wow. That is so funny.
So, yeah. So, yarn. I thought it would be helpful because we did, last winter or was it the fall? We did the knitting and crochet episode.
Yeah.
And I thought we should do a yarn episode so people who don't know a lot about it, but maybe want to pick up those habits, kind of know how to choose your yarn. Or what
Absolutely.
the fuck, that when you look at a crochet pattern, what the hell that means.
Right, exactly.
So, because I didn't know, it took me a while to learn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, unless you have somebody teaching you, yeah.
Yeah, so, yarn. Figure it out. And also, if you're confused, I always ask the old ladies digging through the yarn bins next to me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
In
Or
the
the people at the
store.
yarn shops are super helpful. Or you can send us an email.
Yeah, totally send us an email and we will. Oh my God, speaking of email, before we get off on that, we have the best listener email from last week. I said we would read it. So Lois was her name. You know who I'm talking about, Sharon.
I
right?
do. She's awesome.
She's so awesome. And she actually did send us the tutorial for the Tyvek, by the way. I just haven't sent it on because I'm lazy.
Oh.
But, so we got an awesome message from Lois, and she said the title of it, which is awesome. She said, I love you guys. You are the Lucy and Ethel of the art world, which if you knew how much I love Lucy, that is awesome. Right there. And
I love
Ethel
that
is
show, too.
actually my favorite. But she said, hi, Sharon and Katie. I just wanted to write and tell you how much I love your podcast. Actually, I found it recently during this past Christmas through Tunel. I don't know what that is. Radio. It must be an app or something. When searching the Talk Arts and Culture, yes, I said culture category. She said, finally a show that makes me laugh, keeps me informed on new things, and rekindles some forgotten art techniques. You are officially on my iPhone and iPad for quick access and for forwarding to all my artsy fartsy friends. So she goes on to say, which this is so exciting. She was a fashion illustrator and designer for 35 years.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
so awesome.
Super huge compliment coming from someone that's been in the business for so many years. And she said, I won't read the whole email here, but she just wanted us to know that she's enjoying our current and archive episodes. And she says she feels like she knows us. And let's see, there was a line I wanted to read. She said that she's been busting her ass for umpteen years in a creative industry, and now she just wants to have fun. And she thanks us for our efforts to add to her fun. So I think that's great. She sent us a tip about using Murphy's oil soap for cleaning and preserving brushes, paint brushes, and said if you have a brush that has acrylic paint in it, to soak it overnight in the Murphy's oil soap because it may not be lost forever, which is awesome. And she sent us this really cool Tyvek technique and tutorial, and which is really coincidental because I just added Tyvek to our list of episode topics. So we're going to use this in an upcoming episode, Lois, and thank you so much. And she's emailed a couple of times since, and I just think it's really cool. And we love hearing from you guys. It makes us feel great. We like knowing who's listening, and we want to know what we can do to improve the podcast for you. If you have any episode ideas, we'll definitely use them. So you can send us an email at 2rcgals@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you.
We would love that.
So, and also I am going to put up some of these links to the charts that we talked about today. I will put that on our blog, which is 2artsygals.wordpress.com. And as you know, you can listen to us every week on iTunes or on Stitcher. You get those apps and download them. They're both free. And if you subscribe, then you don't ever have to worry about knowing when we posted a new episode or not. And next week, Sharon and I are going to come back and we're going to be talking about embossing, which is awesome. And you should come listen to it. So until then, make some cool shit, yo!
Yo!